Salutations and proclamations. You are here with the De La Fit podcast. That's right. It's I, Philly's number one son, aka the Body Alchemist, and I'm here excited. I mean, there's no other words to say it. Today we are going to have part one of our interview with powerlifting's elite lifter, Richard The Ant Hawthorne. We're going to be we're just gonna. I don't know. I'm kind of excited right now. I don't know if you could tell. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Myself and Rob Lifter Miller, we had this interview with Mr. Hawthorne a couple months ago. First of all, thank you to him. Thank you to Southern Elite Fitness in D'Iberville, Mississippi, where Mr. Hawthorne's gym is located. First of all, again, let me slow down because my jubilance is taking over. This was not just an interview. I thank Mr. Hawthorne, Richard, for taking his time out to talk about what he admits is his passion, which is lifting. It was an experience that I'm gonna say it inspired not only myself and Rob to growth, to progress more. As you can see in the beginning, I will say this: the podcast changed. The podcast has done a metamorphosis. We've changed in how we do certain things, but I will say this: this was also a starting point. When I started this podcast, I wanted to do a podcast that I thought I could shoot out to people and basically, in my own mind, excuse my language, shoot the shit with people from a very non-scientific point. I feel that a lot of times we overcomplicate lifting and health and fitness to points that it doesn't need to be. And, I just wanted to have something where I could speak to people, in regular language. Almost like you were sitting in with a conversation with friends. So, Rob and I ventured to do this. I incorporated him into this. Along with us going into this, it spread to reaching out to other individuals. We contacted and found Miss Brittany Noel. We interviewed her, who has since become part of our podcast, which we're very proud. And it's just been a very large, I would like to say, growth that has taken place in a very short time. We finished up 11 episodes. That's our first season. And we took some time off. We're still reformulating different things, but again, to get back to this podcast, because I can quickly go on tangents. I'm trying to be very focused. I would like to thank Mr. Hawthorne, and I often call him Mr. Hawthorne, but he says to call him Rich. I would like to thank Rich for taking his time out to talk to us and do this interview, which again, I feel becomes more of a seminar. And I am so blessed. We are blessed here at the De La Fit podcast to share this information with you. This is a two-part interview. Rich, Mr. Hawthorne, gave us so much information that we wanted to give it all to you, but because of the standards of time that we have for our podcast, we try to put everything within an hour for everyone to, so it's entertaining and it's informational, but at the same time, that it's not too much. We want it just enough for everybody. And Mr. Hawthorne gave us more. I mean, he shared so many jewels with us that it was like, wow, so this is part one. Next week will be part two. And again, all we can say is shout out to him. Thank you. If you are ever in the Mississippi area, please check out his gym, Southern Elite Fitness, located at 10380 Auto Mall Parkway, D'Iberville, Mississippi, 39540. The phone number is 228-207-3728. It's again Southern Elite Fitness, located in D'Iberville, Mississippi. It's a wonderful place that I'm going to make a trip to. I'm saying it in the air. I will make a trip to down south to his gym, just to meet the man himself. Also, for anybody else that's interested, if you're in the surrounding areas, if you're, just want to, have the chance to meet this man and take him on his knowledge, firsthand, I would encourage you to. It has helped, I know, change my life. It has helped to, I know it sparked Rob. Just so that you know, Rob right now is not here, but he was definitely here for the interview. And like I said, I hope you all enjoy it. We're going to start out with some information. I'm kind of thinking we're just going to let this go. I'm just going to kick it off. So I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. Tune in next week for the interview, part 2. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied. For part 2 of the interview with Mr. Richard Hawthorne. Please enjoy, share, like, and have a very blessed, fit, healthy day. You're now tuned in to the De La Fit podcast
with Philly's #1 son, aka the Body Alchemist,
and Unity Spared, aka Rob Ali Lift Miller.
The De La Fit podcast.
Everybody out there, it's our pleasure here at the De La Fit podcast to introduce to you one of my favorite powerlifters and elite lifter, Mr. Richard The Ant Hawthorne. Everybody give it up. Give it up.
Yeah, I mean, I would clap, but I don't have hands to clap. Obviously, it is a complete honor. Thank you so much, sir, for calling on our show.
Oh man, it's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. I enjoy. This is my passion.
Word.
Yeah, so, if I get a chance to talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it.
That's what's up. That's all right. And first, I gotta ask a quick question. This is to Rob. What do you mean you don't have hands, sir? That's what you said.
No, I was going to clap, but I realized my phone was in my hand still, and it was just, I'm sorry.
So you did a faux pas slip there. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I feel like yeah. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to get that out the way. So we did, like I said, Mr. Hawthorne. Or what would you rather us call you, Mr. Hawthorne, Richard? The Ant, you tell us.
You just call me Richard, man.
All right. Richard, the De La Fit podcast is just myself, my friend Rob, who's an Olympic lifter, and we talk about fitness and health from two guys, normal guys' perspectives, who like it, who love it, who train in it, and it's just we just shoot the shit with our people on the podcast. We keep it real, and wanted to have somebody definitely real come on the show. You're one of my favorite powerlifters, and one of my favorite individuals. I look at your Instagram and everything, so it's again an honor to have you on the show. And we have some. I did pull up some of your stats, sir, on my book of. Well, it's not really a book; it's a Surface Pro, but got some things right here, sir. Hold up. So, if I recall, you were on the United States powerlifting team. You represented in Russia. Am I correct?
Not Russia. Australia.
Australia. That's what it was.
Australia.
So first of all, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the basics. How did you get started in powerlifting?
Well, in order to get into how to get started in powerlifting, always give recognition to my neighborhood that I grew up in. And, Cedar Grove. I'm from Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi, and we're on the water. So a lot of people know of it as being Baby Vegas. So it's a little place down here, Mississippi, where we got quite a few casinos.
Okay.
My neighborhood had a neighborhood park, and it was a blessing for me to grow up in this neighborhood because all we did, and it was a wide range of ages from, I'd say I was the youngest in the youngest group, from the age 8 all the way up to 19. We did every sport, everything, every day. I mean, when I say every sport, so all your major sports, you know, basketball, baseball, football, you know, to drilling holes for golf, street hockey. I mean, every day. And I stayed in the woods, you know, playing manhunt and stuff like that. So, me being, you know, the caboose of all this, and any given day we have a range of, you know, 15 to 25 kids out there, you know, every day, you know, having to troubleshoot because I'm small, I'm a runt, you know, and having to troubleshoot through all that and being in a real competitive neighborhood. I give everything to this neighborhood and the family that I grew up with, because, you know, we are all still very, very close, which a lot of people don't get that. Not even with, you know, 2 people in their life that you can, you know, be around and have that support for the rest of your life, you know?
Right. And, you know, it's funny you just said that because, before we got you on the line, Rob and I were talking about the urban athlete, which is basically, basically we ourselves grew up with individuals in our family who really were our role models, and they were just they did it all, you know, in the neighborhood. They played basketball, football, baseball, they ran track, they lifted weights, they did gymnastics. I mean, and that was just something that we both grew up seeing. You know, I know Rob's father was like that. My father was very similar to that. So, you know, I just think it's interesting the fact that, you know, you just came on and you're giving credit to your roots, and you know it's very similar. It's very similar, you know, and that's what we were talking about. We were coining it the urban athlete because a lot of these fellows we knew they didn't really go into the organized sport. This was just how they normally lived their life, you know. So I think that's one of the most important things that nowadays people have forgotten about or gotten away from dealing with fitness and health. It's just being active. You know, a lot of them, it wasn't a thing of, you know, I'm going to go play pro or I'm going to do this. They just love to be active. And I think we're really missing that in today's society.
I mean, it was just like people, like, I don't know. It's just it's still fresh. It first makes me as a person and also as an athlete that people just forgot how to move. Yeah. We're not talking about lifting. We're not talking about sports. Just like people just forgot how to get up and just move.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's that.
And they feel like, oh, my back hurt, oh, my knees hurt, oh, my head hurt. And I was like, well, you sit on the couch for like 6 hours, so what the hell would you think? What else is going to happen?
Exactly. I was just talking about that. So I just got finished, you know, getting my brakes done, and I was out there with one of my buddy's dad that I grew up with, and he was doing my brakes, and we was just talking about that. Like he don't have to work, you know, and but every day he gets up and he go work on people's cars. He got something to do every day, you know, all if he wanted to. But, you know, he chooses to do this because, one, he enjoy it, but another thing is, and this is with everything, you don't use it, you lose it.
That's true.
With everything in this existence, you don't use it, you lose it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's 100% truthful.
Very true, man.
You know, so coming from we're coining it the urban athlete background and environment. I'm assuming this is where you transfer into organized sports. Would it be in school, or like when did you start specifically as far as an organized sport?
I started young. I want to say I did Pee Wee.
Okay.
First thing I did was T-ball, which that was only 1 year. But I went heavily into football, as far as Pee Wee football, and went from Pee Wee football to, of course, the school 7th and 8th grade football, which that was the first time I went. I want to say 7th grade was the first time I worked out. Wasn't for me at that time. Now somebody challenged me, I'm gonna be in there. Not saying that I'm gonna try to lift whatever, but somebody say that I can't do something, I'm at least gonna be in that area. You know what I mean?
Right.
So 7th grade was the first time I started lifting weights, and of course, just like everybody else, this hurts, it feels uncomfortable, and all that good stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And going around school, poking each other in the chest because we school and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I actually started. It wasn't nothing until 9th grade. Yes, I was an athlete because of, and I try to make people know I was an athlete because it was genetic. I was an athlete because of my environment.
Right.
Again, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I had all the practice in the world of moving around, whether it was sports or playing in the woods and being agile and safe manhunt, playing hide and seek in the woods,
Right.
Being able to move, real agile through things, because that's where I got my athletic ability and the mindset of, no, you're not getting me, or this is not happening, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's where that came from, I was conditioned that way, through that experience. But yeah, in 9th grade, of course, I was an athlete by that time, and one of my friends, actually Tony Capri, he was a 13-time world junior champion of powerlifting. Wow. Actually, young cat in my neighborhood, and when I say my neighborhood, had spit out some athletes, whether it was powerlifting, football. A couple people went to the league. A couple females went to the next level in basketball. We had a guy go next level in baseball. I mean, countless. If it wasn't athletically, it was academically. It was competitive, no matter what it was. But they needed a 114er, and they asked me to do it. And my first meet, I did it because I was like, why not? And the first meet, I didn't have nobody to compete against, so I went to South State. Second meet, which was South State, I had two people, and I finished it out barely. And then that first year of state, I got up there, and it was a roster full. Okay. It was a roster full. So I want to say it was about six lifters in that weight class, state. And to be honest, I don't really remember. I'm bad with remembering numbers because this is more than just numbers for me. You know what I mean? I don't hold on to numbers except for things that circulate, because people remind me what I've done.
Right.
But I want to say I did at 114. I want to say I did like a 225 squat, like a 185 bench, and then no, I'm sorry, not a 185. I want to say it was low hundreds, so it was like 105 to 115, something like that. And then I did like a 235 deadlift, which it all came down to weight. So I had to hit that weight to tie the lead person. And since I weighed lighter, I won that first year at state. So that's how it all started. And to tell you this right now, after that meet, I said, and I said it out loud, and I constantly said it, I was going to be pound for pound strongest person in the world.
Right.
2000,
Look where we are now.
2000.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So you said it and you put it in the atmosphere and you made it a reality.
Yep.
Right. Which
Yep.
I think that's awesome. I mean, that's something we talk about all the time. Last week, Rob and I was actually having a conversation about motivation and how to stay motivated. And sometimes it's difficult to motivate yourself. Or with me, sometimes rather it might not be something that I don't have problems motivating myself, but talking to other people that motivate me, you know, and I will say, honestly, you're one of the individuals that motivate me, you know, and comically, the first time I saw you, and I know you said earlier, you said you're a smaller man. The first time I saw you was on YouTube, and I swore you were like 6 foot, 200 pounds. And I'm looking at it because there's all these guys behind you, and they're all bigger guys, and I'm like, wow, this guy is just, wow. I'm like, this is a big guy. And then I looked, and somebody said your height, which is, I believe, 5'3", am I correct?
Yeah.
5'3", and it said 130, and I was like, one, I was blown away, and two, I was like, I am weak as fuck. I was like, I am weak as fuck, and I was like, I need to figure out because me, I'm 5'7", 185, and I'm like, okay, I need to go back to the drawing board and really see what it is that I'm doing here that's wrong, you know, because, you know, but as I looked more at what it was you were doing, and you and I have talked about this in previous conversations, which is coming from where we're from, because Rob and I are both from Philly, and one thing is we're literally, like it says, our city and state, we're a fighting city, you know, the home of Rocky, the home of, you know, Joe Frazier and things like that, and coming from, you know, where's, you know, it's a show and prove. And I knew if you're a big guy, a lot of times you tend to be a target. So I was like, man, you got to be good, you got to be strong, but you got to be able to move. So, you know, it was like I wanted to figure out how to be strong but being able to move. And I'm saying this to say that you're one of those individuals that motivated me to really go deeper into myself. What keeps you motivated? Where do you find the motivation, or who motivates you to keep going?
Well, let's start with the word motivation. I'm not big on that word.
Okay.
So because when you look at motivation is an outside fuel system.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
All right.
So when you have an outside fuel system, you have to rely on that outside stuff. So if it ain't in you, then you're gonna have problems.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So the thing is you have to have passion. You have to have the passion for it. You have to be in the environment, okay? Because the environment is pretty much the information, or the environment is the information, okay?
All right.
And not only the information, it's also the repetition. You know what I mean? The time and repetition. You see what I'm saying? So in order to get to where you want to go, or say you want to go, you got to have that. Because if you have an environment of people say you want to powerlift, you know what I mean, and you have an environment of people doing CrossFit, how far are you going to go? You know what I mean? And that's the only people you have around you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of information? You don't have any hands-on of people to actually drive you in that field. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at that time? Okay, so you can have the passion for it, but you don't really have the people around you to set that groove, and you can get that experience with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then how long are you gonna progress at a quality level? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the time and the repetition is having that environment, you know, along with that passion. So you can be motivated all you want. Motivation, I call it emotional takeover, because you can go on YouTube and you can see somebody do an awesome lift, like, oh man, that's awesome. I'm gonna do it just like that.
Right.
That's boom. As soon as that video go off, you again.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. I do.
You again. So that's that. You only motivated when it's right there. But if you're in that environment that's fueling you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you have that passion. But the first thing, it's passion. When you have that passion, you're going to place yourself in those environments.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Not knowing, because that's what you love. You know? So that's the key, period.
Okay.
So is having that passion.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense, because it's like, because I catch myself doing that a lot, you know, in weightlifting, and it's like I would see videos and like, oh yeah, I'm motivated, I'm good, but then when the video turns off, it's like, well shit, like what else is there now? Like, what else do I have to do now to get up out of bed and leave the door to go to the gym?
Right.
And it's like, and that's when intrinsically you have to find it within yourself to get up and do what you love to do. Regardless, like when you go to that environment, the environment fuels the fire, but it all boils down to, okay, like, am I going to pick my right and left foot up to put them on the floor, to put my stuff on, to leave out the door, to do what I want to do?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, like, Rick, I saw, what video was it? It was the Rage Power and Innocent video. It was one of the cage videos that you were in. You did 6 or 5 reps to 600 pounds?
It was I want to say that was 6 reps.
It was 6 reps.
I don't know which one. It was 610 for 4 reps. One was like 600 for 5. It was somewhere around that.
I think it was in 2017. I know that I like the day was in 2017. So it was last year.
So that was okay. So that was last year. So that was I can't remember. To be honest,
I'm looking it up right now.
I think it was like 5 or 6 reps. Yeah.
But like, for what was, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I cried seeing you do it. And it was just, when you said, you know, you don't know if you're going to make it, you don't know if you know, like, if you don't know if it's going to work out well, but you let all these emotions and all this stuff like just flow in you, and you just let it go. And then you started tearing up, and I was just like, I just felt, I don't know, I felt so empowered seeing you do that, because it was just like, you clearly could see that you were nervous, you were scared, that you had a sense of doubt, but at the same exact time, you kept your composure and you still did it. You know, and that is the one thing that I'm still learning how to do, is to control my emotions. Like, I'm still learning how to walk the rickety bridge without falling off. You know what I mean? And it's just like, as an elite athlete, like, not so much what goes through your head, but it's just like, when you tear up and you let the emotions take over, and then you're like, okay, I let it go, I'm done, and you just do it. Like, what brought you to that point? Like, what helps you reach that level of that mindset level?
That's a good question, Rob, and not to cut you off, but that's all the time we have right now for our interview with Richard the Ant Hawthorne on the De La Fit podcast. Next up is Dropping the Jewels segment with Brittany Noel. That's right, Dropping the Jewels. We'll be discussing type 1, type 2 diabetes and some of the things you can do to help manage it. That's right, still here on the De La Fit podcast. But next week, we will have the rest of the interview with Richard The Ant Hawthorne.
You're now tuned in to the De La Fit podcast.
It's time for Dropping the Jewels.
That's right, you know that sound. It's time for Dropping the Jewels with Brittany Noel on the De La Fit podcast. Brittany, start us off with a little bit of information about diabetes. Please drop some of your knowledge.
There are a lot of other health issues that are correlated with diabetes, and a lot of them, one is being effective, and it can affect how your diabetes affects. So there's a lot of different factors that can affect how effective you are by diabetes at any given time. And so even though sometimes you can't directly do something about the blood sugar itself, maybe if we're doing something about like the high blood pressure or about the cholesterol or about your potential for heart disease, all of these things are things that affect your diabetes. So exercising, if we can affect things that are contributing factors, that's what I'm looking for, contributing factors
That's what I was trying to think too.
diabetes, we can help the overall effect of how diabetes is affecting your body.
Exactly. One thing I would always say is if you are suffering from diabetes, specifically I would say type 1, type 2. Type 2 diabetes and type 1 are very different. Breaking down a little bit about that, type 1 is mostly, if I'm correct, individuals who are born with diabetes, or get diabetes in their younger ages. That's what I should say. Type 2 is more dealing with individuals and their, I would say, their fitness level, their diets. They can become diabetic. That's something that individuals, or I should say Brittany touched on in the very beginning. You know, so making sure that your diet is correct or the best that it can be, getting that exercise, which helps cholesterol, and again, as Brittany said, fending off heart disease and many other aspects. So I did look up some things, and I found it on this resource, which is WebMD. WEB. You know I'm tired. Guys, you don't know. I am a lot more intelligent when I'm not tired. Believe me. Please believe this, people. Please believe me, people. Please believe me. This information can be looked up at www.webmd.com. First things first, make a list of, get your doctor's okay, which we've already discussed. You should always get your doctor or physician okay about the things that you do health-wise. That's just a must, because you always want to make sure that you're not going to do anything that's going to exacerbate your condition. Continuously check your blood sugar. Now, this is if you're doing some type of exercise. All right, you want to do these things prior to doing them. All right, so check your blood sugar. You want to make sure that your blood sugar is at an appropriate level, so that as you're exercising, you won't drop too low. All right, that's something that you want to watch out for. All right.
I also always tell my clients they're around to have some sort of quick sugar source in your pocket or with you, so that just in case you do start to feel the effects, you can go ahead and pop that hard candy or whatever it is that you need to regain your blood sugar. And also, if you do have type 1 diabetes and you're insulin resistant, so your body parts, you don't produce insulin at all, then you definitely want to make sure that you have that insulin with you, that you have whatever shots you need and your monitors there with you at the gym or at your home while you're working out. So that way you can go ahead and restore your insulin levels when you need to.
Awesome. Brittany with the save right there, which I was going to, which is number 4, carry carbs. Number 5, you want to always ease into any exercise regimen that you're doing. Please, people, don't just go full force into a full Tabata workout without proper supervision. All right, that's just not the way to do it. Like, I'm gonna go and run 5 miles, 100%.
Tabata?
That's right, Tabata. Did I say it correct? Tabata. It's Tabata. It's Tabata today. Okay, I don't care. It is Tabata. I do not care.
It's Tabata cat today.
Yeah, right. All right, since Brittany wants to make fun of me, it's
Tabata, people. Tabata.
Tabata. Like I said,
Y'all got that pie lash and that Tabata here?
Don't go. All right, how about this? Don't go full force into a HIIT workout. How about that? How about that, Brittany?
Perfect.
Don't go full force into basically any type of workout. All right, you want to ease into it. A lot of times we get hooked up on the things we were able to do in the past. That's myself. I'm sure maybe Brittany goes through that, and others. We get hooked up. It's the man,
you guys. It's the man thing.
Really? For real? Sexism.
Women.
Sexism.
Always the men trying to regain those glory days.
Anyway, the hate is real. The struggle is so real right now. Anyway, but no.
Perks of having a female co-host.
Really? Relieve the burn? That's what it's going to be. Relieve the burn. Anyway, as I was going to say, you want to take your time no matter who you are. Just take your time. Please don't go full bore. You want to ease into a workout. The one thing I do see with clients is the fact of individuals want to hurry up and get fast results, and they want to go full force into something, or they're highly motivated. They see something on Instagram, they see something on Facebook, and they're like, yes, I want to do that yoga routine 100% all out, or I want to do this weight routine like this. And the problem of it is that your body is not accustomed to it yet. You want to ease into it. No matter what type of program or regiment you're doing, take your time. Give yourself the moments. If you're doing a cardio program, don't just go full out for 20 minutes, 30, 40, 50 minutes. Don't go crazy. Listen to your bodies. Take your time. Maybe start out with 5 to 10 minutes, all right? Ease into it, all right? Take your time. Same thing with weightlifting. It might be tempting for the guys. It might be tempting to go over and be like, yeah, what? 145, wait, or 170, I could curl that. No, it's a quick way to hurt yourself if you're not prepared. Don't do that, all right?
Quick.
Very quick. I've seen it. It's not pretty. Take your time, all right? One thing you got to understand, and I think this is for everybody, is this is your journey. It's your journey and nobody else's. All right. Don't let anybody else dictate to your body and your mind about your journey. All right. Exercise, health, fitness is an individualized thing. It should always be that way. And it's about you.
Like track and field, individual sport. Got to worry about field rate.
That's right. So please take your time. Another thing that we would say is, Brittany, you want to add another thing to that right there?
Well, one thing that I would say is that everybody's body is different, whether or not you have diabetes or not. And everybody's, again, their reaction to having diabetes is very different. So based off of this, what you're doing to maintain your overall health is going to affect what you can and can't do while you're trying to work out. But what I will say is that you don't want to let your diabetes be a limiting factor. You can still go out and do awesome athletic feats, and you can adapt to a lifestyle where you can be very active, but it is, like we were saying, something that you need to work into. So I do want you to feel encouraged that you can get to that level with a lot of, work, a lot of considering how your body feels, and a gradual process that may take a couple of years, but you just have to be patient and waiting for that process and to not get discouraged initially if you feel like you're not doing much. Because eventually you'll be able to do a lot. So you just have to listen to your body, stay consistent and also do the other things you need to in regards to your diet and other recovery aspects to make sure that you can sustain whatever type of fitness level you're trying to achieve.
Exactly. That's all good information right there. Also, to chime in on what Brittany's saying, make it a habit. Make whatever it is that you're doing, make your exercise regimen, no matter what it is, start making it a part of your life. That means don't get upset if you don't do it a certain regimen or something at a certain time. I mean, look, in a very, very organized world, then everything would go without a hitch. But that's not life. That's not reality. So if this is going to be part of your life, it should be like anything else that is a part of your life. All right. If this means something to you, if it is that important, you're going to do it. Doesn't matter the time. Doesn't matter when. You're going to make it happen. If it really means that much to you, you're going to go out and walk around in the park, maybe, at, I don't know, you might have wanted to do it at 9 o'clock, but hey, you didn't get out until 11. At least you're doing it. At least you are doing it. And that's where you need to focus. The focus is basically, again, making it a part of who you are. There's nothing wrong with exercise. There's nothing wrong with doing any type of resistance training. All right. A lot of times, and we've talked about this before in many different podcasts, I know you and I have, Brittany, is the fact that we tend to look at exercise and as some type of punishment, especially if, unfortunately, we come down with an ailment or we gain a little weight. It's like, oh, man. And I know I've heard this. I've heard this from friends, and I know you probably heard this. Oh, I got to go on a diet. Oh, I got to work out. Right?
With that voice?
That's normally the voice I hear. Like that's from my sisters and friends. Ha ha. He thought it was gonna be from just the men.
I think it was that. I can't do it.
That's gonna be the new voice. I'm gonna get that as a voiceover.
Oh my God.
You're now tuned in to the De La Fit Podcast.
The De La Fit Podcast is brought to you by supporters like you. If you like what you heard today, please like, follow, share, and subscribe to the De La Fit Podcast. We're here because of listeners like you. Thank you. We hope you all enjoyed the show out there today. I'd just like to send a shout out and a thank you to my De La Fit squad, Brittany Noel, Rob Oli Lifter Miller. Special shout out to our guest, Richard The Ant Hawthorne, who graced us and gave us some of his time. Can't wait for the interview next week for the second part of the interview. And for you, the fans out there, we really appreciate you all listening in, subscribing, liking, following, share. We trust you continue. We will continue to put our best foot forward to continue to give you the best content possible. Thank you so much. As always, peace, love, fitness, and health. If you have a question or a topic that you would like us to tackle on the De La Fit Podcast, please email us at delafit13@gmail.com. That's delafit13@gmail.com.
You're now tuned in to the De La Fit Podcast.